Using Ahrefs to dominate B2B SEO in 2025. SEO in 2025, still the most reliable B2B demand engine. If you lead B2B growth in 2025 and SEO isn't a core pipeline channel, you're choosing to pay more for the same demand. Roughly 71% of B2B buyers start with a generic Google search, not a brand name, which means category and problem keywords shape deals long before a rep gets a reply. And search engines drive about 76% of traffic to B2B websites, so organic visibility is still where most of your future pipeline first meets you. Ahrefs is the tool we use when we want to stop guessing and start operating with market reality. It shows what buyers search, which competitors own which conversations, and which pages earn links and traffic at scale. When you treat Ahrefs as an intelligence layer, not just a rank checker, you can build an SEO system that reliably produces inbound demo requests and gives your team sharper outbound angles. This matters because organic search tends to convert well when you match content to intent. Ahrefs research puts the average organic conversion rate around 5%, which is strong for any acquisition channel in B2B. Our goal isn't more traffic, it's more of the right traffic, then connecting those insights to meetings, pipeline, and revenue. Why Ahrefs-Driven SEO wins on unit economics, even with AI in the SERP. SEO's advantage is compounding returns. The work you do now can keep producing demand months later, without paying per click. In B2B SaaS, SEO programs have been benchmarked at roughly 702% ROI over 3 years, with about a 7-month break-even, which is why disciplined organic programs often outlast one-off paid bursts. When CAC is under scrutiny, this is one of the few levers that can improve economics over time instead of degrading. AI is changing click behavior, but it hasn't replaced Google as the main source of demand. When AI overviews appear, the #1 organic result can lose about 34.5% of clicks. So informational-only content is riskier if it doesn't create downstream intent. At the same time, Google still sends around 345 times more traffic than ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity combined. So classic SEO remains the primary growth engine for most B2B sites. The practical takeaway is simple. We optimize to win both worlds. We target intent that drives action, comparisons, integrations, pricing, implementation, industry-specific use cases, and we publish content that's structured and site-worthy so AI systems can reuse it. Ahrefs is useful here because it helps you see demand patterns, SERP features, click estimates, and competitive gaps in one place. Map the buyer journey. First, then build your Ahrefs keyword universe. The most common Ahrefs failure we see is starting with keywords and only later trying to retrofit them to a buyer journey. Instead, align sales, marketing, and product on who you sell to, what triggers evaluation, and what prospects ask right before they book a call. Once you have that, Ahrefs Keywords Explorer becomes a buyer intent radar, not a spreadsheet generator. A useful rule in 2025 is to prioritize terms you can realistically win and that can realistically drive page 1 behavior. Roughly 96.98% of clicks happen on the top 10 Google results, so targeting a keyword you can't crack is a slow way to lose a quarter. Ahrefs helps you pressure test this by combining keyword difficulty, SERP review, click data, and the actual pages currently winning. We also use Ahrefs to expand beyond obvious head terms into long-tail queries that signal real buying work. Ahrefs Keyword Index reportedly grew to about 28.7 billion keywords, which is exactly where you find niche vertical terms, compliance variants, 4 industry modifiers, and implementation questions competitors ignore. Those long-tail queries are often where the best B2B conversion rates hide, because the searcher is already narrowing options. Operationalize Ahrefs, from competitive research to a publishable plan. Once the journey is clear, we turn Ahrefs into a weekly operating cadence. Site Explorer is how we map competitor positioning, which pages bring them traffic, which topics they've owned, and where their backlinks cluster. Then Content Gap shows which keywords competitors rank for that you don't, your fastest path to uncovering missing consideration and decision stage coverage. Content Explorer is where we validate what actually earns attention in your category. In B2B, link-worthy assets tend to be concrete. Benchmarks, templates, calculators, implementation playbooks, industry checklists, and original data. When we find formats that reliably earn referring domains, we replicate the structure, not the copy, then improve it with stronger POV, clearer positioning, and better proof points. To keep the plan accountable, we connect keyword clusters to funnel outcomes, not vanity traffic. Rank Tracker is organized by stage: awareness, consideration, decision, and by ICP segment, while Ahrefs Web Analytics helps separate classic organic from AI-driven referrals. That's how you answer the only question that matters: which topics are creating meetings and pipeline, and which ones are just producing impressions. If your Ahrefs workflow doesn't end in booked meetings, it's not an SEO strategy, it's a reporting habit. Turn SEO insights into revenue, the sales plus SDR connection. Ahrefs gets dramatically more valuable when your revenue team uses it, not just marketing. When we see organic traction in a specific industry or use case, that becomes an outbound thesis. Target similar accounts, lead with the pain the market is actively searching, and reference the exact assets already resonating. This is where SEO supports outbound without feeling gimmicky, because it's grounded in revealed buyer intent. For teams evaluating sales outsourcing, we often position Ahrefs as the bridge between inbound and outbound execution. A strong 5.0% organic conversion rate is great, but only if leads are followed up fast and routed correctly. Otherwise, you just increase anonymous interest. At SalesHive, we align SEO insights with our SDR motions so an outsourced sales team can use the same language buyers use in search across cold email, agency-style cadences, and cold calling services without forcing generic templates. If you run a B2B sales agency or an internal sales development agency, the same principle applies. Let SEO tell you what to say. Keywords Explorer reveals the terms prospects use when they're comparing tools, evaluating pricing, or searching best solutions by industry. Those phrases become subject lines, call openers, and value props. The outcome is better relevance, better response rates, and fewer not interested conversations that were really not specific enough. Common Ahrefs mistakes that kill B2B results and how to fix them. The most expensive mistake is chasing volume without intent. High-volume keywords often sit in AI overview territory or attract early-stage researchers who will never convert, especially when the SERP answers the question without a click. The fix is to prioritize commercial and decision stage clusters, comparisons, alternatives, implementation, integration, pricing, and industry fit, and to design each page with a clear next step for the right persona. Another frequent issue is misreading difficulty as destiny. Difficulty scores are directional, but the real question is whether you can produce something meaningfully better than what's ranking: better structure, stronger examples, clearer differentiation, fresher data, and more authoritative referencing. In many categories, you don't need to outspend competitors. You need to out-execute them with content that's precise and genuinely useful. Finally, teams often track rankings but never close the loop to revenue. If you can't tie a cluster to demo requests, assisted conversions, or pipeline influence, you'll eventually lose budget to channels with clearer attribution. That's why we recommend using rank tracker tags by funnel stage and building a short weekly review that connects movements in the top 10, where 96.98% of clicks happen, to real conversion events in your CRM. Advanced optimization, authority, AI visibility, and citable content. Winning in 2025 means you don't just rank, you become the source AI systems pull from. That requires content that's structured, factual, and easy to reference. Clear definitions, step-by-step processes, tables for comparisons, and original data where you can produce it credibly. Brand radar and AI visibility tracking help you see whether your brand is being mentioned and for which topics, so you can double down where you're already earning AI share of voice. We also recommend designing a small set of link magnets each quarter that support your money pages. In Ahrefs, you can spot the patterns. Which competitor assets earn referring domains, what journalists cite, and which pages accumulate links naturally over time. In B2B, one strong benchmark report can support an entire cluster of integration pages, comparison pages, and vertical landing pages, lifting the whole site's authority. When you need to compare options for stakeholders, tables can outperform paragraphs because they're skimmable and citation-friendly. Here's a practical way to connect Ahrefs reports to funnel outcomes without turning your plan into a list of random tasks. What to do next? A 30 to 90-day plan you can actually execute. Start by narrowing your scope to what you can win and measure. In the next 30 days, complete a competitor map in Site Explorer, run Content Gap against your top 3 competitors, and build a keyword universe focused on your ICP's problems and decision stage queries. Then, pick a small number of clusters where you can plausibly land in the top 10, because that's where virtually all clicks concentrate. In days 31 to 60, publish consistently and instrument conversion tracking so you can judge content by outcomes, not opinions. Pair each cluster with one money page, the page that should drive demos, plus supporting articles that answer evaluation questions and remove friction. If AI overviews are eroding clicks by around 34.5% on certain query types, shift more effort toward bottom funnel and brand-adjacent terms that are less vulnerable, and make sure every page earns a clear next action. In days 61 to 90, integrate SEO insights into outbound so you get leverage from both sides. If you're evaluating an SDR agency, a B2B sales agency, or outbound sales agency support, use Ahrefs data to target industries where you already rank and to mirror high-intent language inside scripts and sequencing. That's how SEO stops being traffic work and becomes a predictable meeting engine, supported by content, backed by intent data, and executed by a team that can follow up fast.